Hi, guys. There's a Jezebel in the house. Hi there. Welcome to my channel. I am Tanya Marie, and I am here to empower women with valuable information, tools to grow and radiate minds. And so, whether you are a single woman or a parent, a professional, I like to inform. I like to inform other individuals with information and basically the truth in areas of life such as fitness, nutrition, biblical, profession, and the education sector. And so we perish for a lack of knowledge. And so I am an educator and I have over a decade of experience in the field of education as a special ed teacher and also as a school counselor. And also I've served my community in regards to, I was a school board member and worked in the community to advocate for children as well. And so I've seen a lot, I've experienced a lot, and I just want others to be aware and be empowered in this new season. And so I'm very excited about this new year. Last week I talked about Jezebels in the schoolhouse. And so in the field of education, I've seen a lot. I've seen Jezebels at different levels of a school. And so we talked about Jezebels last week. And what is a Jezebel? A Jezebel is someone that is very controlling. This individual is very controlling and they try to intimidate others by harassing. And so they try to get other individuals on their side. They try to make themselves look great and then paint a picture of others in a negative light. And, the reason why they have great power is because people enable them. People give them power. People that are not aware, people that are not able to discern, people that I would say weak, or individuals that feel like they're the underdog, they try to side with these Jezebels or, very controlling individuals to help them, to help promote them, not realizing that there's individuals that's being hindered in life or abused because of that very controlling individual, aka Jezebel. And so I've seen that a lot. I've seen that in schools, I've seen that in families. And so today we're going to talk about Jezebel in the house. And so if you have not received a copy of my book, Jezebel's in the Schoolhouse, please, guys, the link is below. Please click on that link and get a copy of that. That will go through, different things that you can do when you encounter a Jezebel in the schoolhouse or in, any job site, job environment. And so please get a copy of that. I have some strategies in there and also my experience, what I went through. And hopefully that will help empower you if you're going through the same issue at the workplace of harassment or, working in a hostile environment. Hopefully, that ebook will kind of help empower you, give you hope, and let you know that there's other individuals that's going through it and that there's ways in order to survive. There's strategies that need to be utilized when you're working in that type of environment to protect yourself, protect your mind, protect you physically, and also to protect your career. And so that's very important. And so I've seen Jezebels at the top level of education, on the board, school board. I've seen Jezebels, and central office and school districts. I've seen Jezebels with leaders of school campuses, the principals. And it's just abuse of power. Abuse of power. And individuals are scared to say anything about that abuse of power because they feel like their careers will be under attack or them themselves. And so I've seen Jezebels go after individuals by harassing them at home. I've seen Jezebels stalk individuals, whether online or, home. And so it's just very interesting. There's Jezebels that may not have nothing to do at home And they will sit there and dig out information regarding individuals, regarding where they live, regarding, their family, regarding their careers or livelihoods, and try to display that information in a negative light to others, to tarnish individuals' their reputation. And so I've seen a lot though, and I just want you guys to be notified and aware of what to do when you encounter different situations like that, at the workplace, and what to do when you see that inside of your household or within families. And so many of you have your own families and your own households. And there's things that you see when other family members may come over. There's things that you may see going to other individuals' homes. And, a lot of times we see a Jezebel in these instances, someone that's extremely controlling, extremely controlling. And they will do whatever, they have to do to obtain power or to have individuals side with them. They think they're always right. And so last week we looked at the DSM-5, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. We looked in here last week and basically said that anyone that was operating as a Jezebel, basically they have a narcissistic personality disorder. And so in this book, it has the different mental disorders in here, and that narcissistic personality disorder is listed in there. And there's 9 different areas in regards to the diagnostic criteria that you can see in regarding a Jezebel. So we're going to take a look at that and kind of see if you see any of that in your family. Okay. And so the holidays just passed, and many was among, their family members. And I know that there's a lot of things that you saw, during this past holiday season. There's a lot of things that you saw. And a lot of times, you can come from a very functional family, close relationships with siblings, parents, all of that. But a lot of times there's individuals that come from the outside into the family and can cause a lot of confusion in regards to their words, or they will have individuals who start dwelling on things that is not relevant. Okay. And, the individual that may love them or have a soul tie with them, may not be able to really see clearly as to what they're doing, but it's very cunning, very cunning. And if you're not in a relationship with that individual, it's easy to see, but when you're in a relationship with that individual, you cannot see at all. And so you think that, individuals are gaining up, on you and regarding someone, but that is far from the truth. And so, there's patterns that you can see. And so I do have a free worksheet listed below. And that worksheet. In that worksheet, you can, kind of list and be able to watch out for when you see times where someone is controlling the date, the environment, the type of conversations. And, basically just document. That was one of the things, one of the strategies in my ebook, Jezebel in the Schoolhouse. In that book, we talked about documenting what you saw, documenting, regarding the date, the time, the environment, that you witnessed harassment, abuse of power. And by keeping an active document, that active document helps you to be able to see patterns. Is this happening on a daily basis, a weekly basis? Is this happening during, harassment is happening during events? When is this harassment taking place? Okay. Is this harassment taking place before a major transition? And, an individual's life, major, such as the new year, new semester, a holiday, a break, when does the abuse of power take place during gatherings. And so, by documenting, you're able to kind of look over and see, the different patterns, get months of documentation to see what type of patterns are you seeing. And so at home, you're able to document and see, oh, is there always issues, you know, during the holiday break? Is this Jezebel always coming after me or my family during the holiday break? Are they always coming after, you know, um, me and my family during gatherings? Or, during gatherings, are they always trying to paint me in a bad light? Or are they trying to cause confusion by um, saying things that's not true or provoking individuals? And so it is very important to document so that you're able to kind of see, what patterns are taking place and to kind of see how long it takes place. Because a lot of times, a lot of families, they experience, controlling individuals. And sometimes they're not really aware of how long, that takes, place. A lot of times, you get tired of individuals causing confusion or, causing issues that should not be. And you kind of wonder, how did this start? Why did it start? Is this relevant as to what they were talking about? That this person really did say that? Was it really that serious or, something that serious, or they're making a big deal about something because they're trying to cause confusion, or, they're, causing confusion because they really don't want to be over here or have, themselves or maybe, their family not come over. So you have to be very smart about documenting so that you can know exactly, the patterns and what type of strategies that you need to utilize, things that you need to say, and kind of, boundaries that you need to create, healthy boundaries for you and your family and, your loved ones. Jezebels, they try to break up a family or, relationships or even a community. I've seen Jezebels, break up an entire community or organization, and it's because of their selfishness. It's all about them, all about them, all about them being in power, all about them being right. You know, if you've noticed a Jezebel, they want all the attention. And so if someone is being generous, you know, they could be, married to someone and, that spouse is very loving and giving. And they might get jealous of that and may stop that individual from, giving or spending time with those that they love. And because it's all about them. It's all about, their time. It's all about, spending money on them. It's all about them. And sometimes people cannot see that and they think that you're picking on them. But um, I've seen Jezebels cause confusion in many different areas, whether it's your workplace, whether it's at home. And so a lot of times when you have close knit families, Jezebels take place inside. They're usually third parties. They're coming from the outside to bring confusion, whether it be words, whether, it's causing you to turn on another family member or, paint someone in a bad light that, they're doing, someone's doing things the wrong way in regards to gatherings or functions. It's always pointing and picking, always picking, always picking, micromanaging. And so when you see that, when you see someone very extremely controlling, picking on other individuals, or it's all about them, then be very mindful of what they're trying to do. Because it's like kind of like, what is the purpose? What are you trying to do? And so by looking at in the manual here, this diagnostic manual, there was 9 different diagnostic criteria and regarding looking at someone with a narcissistic personality. And basically anyone that is a Jezebel or very controlling, I would say that they have a narcissistic personality disorder that's basically undiagnosed. And so we're just going to look at these 9 different criteria areas and kind of see, kind of help you become aware to see if you see any of of this and different individuals around you, and kind of open up your mind as to what you need to be doing when that individual comes around or when that individual calls you, kind of what to do so that you're not falling into their trap. And so they try to gain power by enabling others, getting other people on their side, by painting people, other individuals in a bad light. And so let's see here. Those, that are Jezebels, they believe that they are superior, special, or unique, and they want recognition. It's all about them. And so that's, listed here in the DSM-5 book. Individuals with narcissistic personality disorder generally have a lack of empathy. They can care less about individuals. They can care less. They can care less. They will manipulate situations for them. And it doesn't matter if they have children or not, or children that's around them. They will manipulate in regards to children. You would think that, they're being kind and considerate regarding a child, but no, they're trying to manipulate. There's something that they're trying to do, something that they're trying to get. They're manipulating a situation. And if you cannot see, then you're in the dark and you're falling into that trap and basically hurting that child. And so let's see here. Number one, with the criteria, has a sense of self-importance. Okay. And so they think they're, very important, that, their talents and achievements is all that matters. And so if you have an individual around you in the family, beware, is preoccupied with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. Okay. They have some type of fantasy of what success is, what power is, and they will go to the extremes to make sure that they get it. I've seen people go to the extremes for power in a relationship or in a family. 3, believes that he or she is special and unique and can only be understood by or should associate with other special high status people or institutions. And so they only try to be around certain individuals. They may think that they're too good to be around others, or they may be intimidated and feel like other individuals think that they're better. And so they may shrink back and may not want to be around other individuals at outings. Number 4, requires excessive admiration. It's all about them, all about them, all about what they're doing, what they're buying, what they look like, their success. They don't care about their children at times. It's all about them. 5, has a sense of entitlement, unreasonable expectations, especially favorable treatment or automatic compliance with his or her expectations. And so they have certain expectations and they expect for everybody to comply with their expectations. They may have expectations regarding a relationship, even though they don't know much about a functional relationship because they come from dysfunction. They have expectations, whether it's dysfunctional or not. And they think they are right, not realizing that it's dysfunction. 6, they're interpersonally exploitive to take advantage of others to achieve their own ends. And so if you see someone in the family taking advantage of other individuals, finances, their children, be very careful with that. And so they may ask you for your kids to come over. And it's not because they want them to spend time with their children. It's to manipulate a situation, manipulate a relationship within the family, manipulate in some type of capacity. So be very careful. Do not allow your children to be used as pawns in regards to manipulation to individuals and their intentions. Be very careful. 7, lacks empathy and is unwilling to recognize or identify with the feelings and needs of others. And so they will keep something going on and on. They will keep confusion going on and on and on and on and on and on. They will not try to uh, apologize. They will hold a grudge about things that are not very relevant to them or anyone else, just so that they can have that power to be able to, con- see confusion continuing. And so, a lot of times they might not want you to be friends with someone else. And what they'll do is cause confusion. They'll cause confusion in that relationship and make it to where, um, that person is something wrong with that person. And that, there's no way that they can, um, you know, um, no way that they can apologize or accept an apology. And so be very careful to those individuals that will keep confusion going on and on and on and on and on and on. And, for no apparent reason, just because they feel like, that individual's apology is not good enough, or they feel like that, that no one should, accept that apology. And so be very careful for that, because they will keep going on and they will continue to cause, confusion to the point where they try to destroy an individual. So be very, very careful. 8 is often envious of others or believes that others are envious of him or her. And so a lot of times these individuals, they are jealous. They're jealous of others. They're jealous of their lifestyle. They're jealous of what someone else has. And because of that jealousyness, they try to act like those that they're jealous of has a problem or did something to them. And so they'll pick and pick and pick at those individuals. They'll try to find something regarding those individuals, their weak points, and they'll pick at that. Although, that other individual didn't really do anything to them. They will pick out something that's not relevant and make a big deal about it, because they're jealous. And because they're jealous, they want that individual to suffer. And so they manipulate situations. And like I said before, those that are in relationships with them, that are married or, you know, have a relationship with them, a lot of times they're blinded to that and really cannot see, or they see, and because of that soul tie with them, they don't really know what to do in that situation. They don't want to look weak themselves. And so they go along with that, even though they know that it's wrong on so many different levels. They continue to go with that because they don't know what else to do. They feel trapped. And so instead of going back home with that individual and having that individual, fuss at them, um, they go along with it. They go along with that, even though they know that that other person is hurting, even though that they know that the person that they're with is in the wrong. They would rather go back to a peaceful household where the individual is not attacking them, instead of, yeah, they rather go to a peaceful household instead of confronting that individual to make them stop. And in that instance, that's when you need to really pray for that individual for strength, and wisdom on how to handle that situation, what to say, what to do. And number 9 shows arrogant, haughty behaviors or attitudes. And so a lot of times these individuals are just very arrogant. They think they're better than others, arrogant to the point where they may not speak to you or feel like they're too good to speak to anyone, because of course it's all about them. And so, if you're going to different events, you're always the one that have to speak to them first, because it's all about them. It's all about them. And, if it doesn't go their way, then it's your fault. And so be very mindful of what you see in your family or those around you, and other individuals' family. Do not allow this individual to um, tear your relationship with someone because of confusion, because of arrogance, because of bitterness. Do not allow this individual to bring bitterness, confusion into your relationship with someone that you really care for. Be very careful, be very mindful. And so, if you're seeing that in someone, be mindful of that individual. Make sure that you're documenting to keep track, to see when is that happening, to who, and to see if there's a pattern. And when you start documenting, I guarantee you that if you see a pattern, you'll know exactly what to do. You'll know what type of strategies to utilize. When you see these individuals acting like this, it's best not to confront head on, because these individuals, they like to make a scene, and they like to really show out. And so you have to be very wise with how you confront this individual, because along the way, they've already been trying to get people on their side, and been trying to get people, try to look favorable in other people's sight. And so they've already tried that already, that manipulation. And so you have to be very wise, because there's a lot of people around them that cannot see, and are enabling that individual. And so that's when you need to be very mindful, um, document, pray about it, and create healthy boundaries, to make sure that that individual knows um, what you're for, what you're against, and making sure that they respect you as an individual, and also your children, most importantly. That's very important. And so, guys, until next time, I hope that your, get-togethers this year, you're more mindful, and I will be back to share with you more strategies, more information, and more things to look out for, and regarding to this type of individual. Until next time, I'm out.